What is going on, and welcome back to another video. It's your boy Poke Fan back with another sound demo. But before we jump into the sound demo, there's a couple of updates that I wanted to go over right quick. First and foremost, the Emotiva BassX A3 has been replaced. I had to send it back. It has been replaced with its larger brother, the XPA3. This is a Gen 3 XPA3 amp now that is driving my Poke Reserves. The reason being is not because of the amount of power, and I didn't feel like I needed more power, but in a sense I actually did. The reason being is because I learned that the R700s are 3.6 ohm speakers. The R400 is a 4 ohm speaker. So having the low impedance speakers was a blessing and a curse at the same time. With the BassX A3, each speaker was receiving 200 watts RMS on a 4 ohm load. That's plenty of power. Power wasn't the problem. The problem comes in is when you turn it up. I like to listen to my stuff relatively loud, so around the 100, 110 dB volume level is when the BassX A3 really struggled with the low impedance of the R700s and that R400. Well, mostly the R700s in the 2-channel stereo configuration, but the low impedance caused that amp to clip, and when that amp clips, of course, it's going to subsequently kick into protection mode. So there's nothing more disappointing to rocking out and jamming with your music and the amp completely shuts off on you. So having that done, I had to troubleshoot, and long story short, it comes down to these speakers. If I still had the signatures, which are 8 ohm speakers, I would have been completely fine. But these R700s are 4 ohm speakers. So that is something that you may want to consider if you are considering purchasing some of the R700s or even the R400. These are all low impedance speakers. So you will have to find power that's capable of delivering the demand of low impedance speakers. So I invested in the XPA 3, which is a mammoth, beastly, such a beautiful amp. I wish I would have purchased the XPA. I started to actually I was looking at the XPA 3 before I went with the BassX and didn't think I needed that much power. So the XPA 3 is delivering 450 RMS. Yes, 450 RMS watts to the reserves, and that's only because they're on a 4 ohm load. If they were 8 ohm speakers, it's still almost 300. It's like 275 per speaker on 8 ohm speakers at an 8 ohm load. So when you're looking at the 4 ohm load, though, the low impedance, you get a lot more power. Now this this XPA 3 is such a wonderful amp. The issues that I had with the BassX A3 are no longer there. I can crank this as loud as I want, and those reserves are going to hit hard, and they're going to punch you in the chest, and it sounds so good, so clean. The amp pushes the speakers flawlessly without struggling, no problems at all, and it's exactly what I needed, exactly what the doctor ordered. Okay, enough of the BassX or the Emotiva. Moving on. The next update, I created more, the acoustic panel. I got another acoustic panel back here in the corner. Built an acoustic panel to kind of trap some of that bass, to, in a sense, making a bass trap, because corners is where all your bass is going to reflect. So to minimize the amount of bass reflection from that corner, I created a nice 2x4 foot acoustic panel sitting back there in the corner. The last update that I wanted to go over is the surrounds. So I initially started off with the ES10s. They were back here. They have been replaced with the ES15s. The reason I had to swap out the ES10s with the ES15s is because there was a small percentage of the time, I will say 95% of the time, the ES10s worked out really good. They didn't distort. They sounded great. They can handle everything you threw at them. But there's this small percentage of time in certain certain movies and certain scenes where there's just too much bass being thrown at the surround sounds, and those tiny little 4-inch woofers just couldn't hang on. They would try, you would get a lot of noise, port noise from the back of the ES10s, and for me, that's a no-go. And it doesn't matter, my kick around was 60 hertz on the ES10s. I would normally keep them at 60 hertz because they handled the frequencies quite well. Changing that didn't make any difference. I changed it to 80 hertz. I figured maybe they don't need to be dropped down to 60 hertz. Let me change it to 80 hertz. Nope. Same difference. Didn't make a difference. Jumped it up to 100 hertz. Same difference. Didn't make it. Even 120. And it still vibrated. Those tiny little speakers, I recommend them for folks that don't want that hardcore cinematic experience like me. I like to turn my stuff up rather loud. But if you are more sane and you like to just watch a movie and enjoy the beautiful sound, the ES10s are perfect because you get big sound from small speakers. And that's the beautiful thing about the ES10s is they produce a lot of big sound, and it's surprisingly that you get that much sound. They sound much bigger than they look from the ES10s, and they're small and easy to deal with. You can have a smaller bracket, and that's kind of the caveat with going with a larger speaker like the ES15, is that it works better and it can handle those low frequencies a little better than the ES10. But now you're dealing with a much bigger speaker, bigger, heavier speaker. I would say that the 15s are probably 2.5 times the size of the ES10, and it's heavier. So, having a heavier speaker, now you got to find brackets to make sure that your brackets are capable of handling such a big speaker. I ended up having to replace the brackets and everything. But nonetheless, those same scenes where the ES10s struggled, the ES15s handled flawlessly. So everything is gravy. Now on the surrounds, everything is good with the amp, my power, everything is exactly where I want it. Even the rhythmics are sounding better. I ended up recalibrating the rhythmics and have them sounding better than ever. Glorious. It's glorious. I'm telling you, I love it. So with that being said, let's jump into a sound demo.
Because of me.
Baby, would have been nice to have a family.
We can adopt.
Oh, yes, baby. You would be the best father, baby. Look how good you've been for Breeze, this dysfunctional, abandoned poor child. His father obviously hates him. He doesn't have any friends, and you've been nothing but a ray of sunlight.
I love you so much, Sonia Kincaid. And I'm coming to rescue your ass.
I love you more than ever, mi cucaracha. But you better hurry the fuck up. He's going to destroy Europe to save Greece. He's drilling into Veragio's data grid tomorrow while he escapes on his yacht. You have to stop him.
Get the fuck down!
Darius? Darius?
So, how does it feel to lose the one you love? I, for one, did not sleep. Amnesia? Really? Do you think I haven't seen the film Overboard? Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn? A minor classic. Well, my security has already exterminated your cucaracha. And you will die alone and without a family.
No one in this world can kill Darius Kincaid. That motherfucker is unkillable.
Oh, gorgeous.
Oh, shit!
You've reached Michael Bryce. Please leave a message and have a AAA day.
Future Mike?
Fuck, are you seriously making a phone call right now?
I feel like my spiritual journey is almost complete. But now I realize safety's for losers! Woo! The old Bryce, he is long gone. I'm driving without a seatbelt now. It's a crazy thing happens when you lose everything.
Shit!
You got nothing left to lose. You know, it's like Tim McGraw always says.
Tim like fucking who?
You gotta live like you were dying.
That is the lamest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Ooh, I'm at the event horizon, baby. I mean, I feel truly
Nobody's after us. Slow down.
completely free. It's okay. My knees, head, and skin broke the